I have these two books, and by the end of this video, I will have read both of them. I'm on my road to making my first $1 million, and part of that journey is to read and learn and apply the concepts from Alex Hormozi's $100 million book series. Tomorrow, he will be releasing the third installment of this series called $100 million Money Models, which I'll put right here. And I want to be caught up when that happens. The goal in speed reading these books isn't to fully grasp every concept that are in these books. The goal is to get maybe one takeaway from each section of the book and attach an action item to it. Let's skip the intro now, or finish the intro split. 3 minutes, 22 seconds. Good. Now I have read some of this book already. You can see based on my bookmarker here. I've been following along with the audio book, but this time we're just going to move away from the audiobook. I believe he said that this maybe take 2.5 hours, something like that, to read this. Maybe 3. So we're going to try to finish this in under 3 hours. This is a speed run, so speed is of the essence. The offer is what you are literally providing a customer or client in exchange for their money. This book is about how to make profitable offers good, specifically how to reliably turn advertising dollars into enormous profits using a combination of pricing, value, guarantees, and naming strategies. Alex calls the proper combination of these components a Grand Slam offer. Cool. In business, you only need to hit one Grand Slam offer and then be set forever. Make the last dollar you'll ever have to make. And then he also has a pro tip section. This is the reason why I was reading along with the audiobook, because it helps with memory retention. We're just doing a different strategy now. I will go back to reading it this way, the recommended way, in the future, but we are on a time crunch here. Section 1, how we got here. I also like how he does these like little graphics to go along with it. He uses the term wantrepreneur here, person full of ideas that doesn't actually do anything. That's kind of where I was at when I was only reading. The difference between who I was then and who I'm going to be now is that I will be uploading videos around this topic. Videos are just the start though, that's like top of funnel stuff. End game, I will be doing some online business things, selling digital products and services, well, probably leaning more towards products. We all gotta start somewhere. This is my start now. Two main problems most entrepreneurs face: not enough clients, not enough cash. This book is to solve those two problems, solving the problems of not having enough clients and not having enough cash. This book is intended to be a resource, which means it'll be something that I'll read through and keep in the toolbox and come back to, which is why I'm not too worried about picking everything up the first time. If it's going to be something that I pick up many times, then all I have to do is really pick up one crucial, actionable thing at a time and go from there. Section 2, pricing. So we are now moving on to section 2. I believe that's going to be the easiest section here. We're going to be looking at the commodity problem, finding the right market or a starving crowd, and charging what it's worth. Those are the 3 subsections in section 2. Right there. Let's get to it. What does it take to grow a business? 3 simple things: get more customers, increase their average purchase value, or get them to buy more times. Or some combination of all 3. Brings up lifetime value. As someone who doesn't have a whole lot of experience in the driver's seat for businesses, learning about lifetime value is a cool thing. One of the packages I want to offer when I make my first real ask is to offer every single product that I ever put out at the low price of $1,000 for a limited time, which is crazy to think about, to limit a customer's lifetime value to $1,000 when my intention is to offer a lot more than that over the course of my lifetime. But this first offer is going to be more a bit of faith to see if the people that I reach, if I'm able to present myself in a way where they find what I put out to be valuable enough to invest $1,000 right now. Never know unless you ask. This is going to be the one I ask for. I almost don't want to include that in the video because I don't think I'll have that ready by the time this video goes up. But maybe by putting it out there, it'll force me to actually need to do that. But I will say that it's going to be $1,000 now, and by the time my birthday rolls around in March, I want to increase that to $10,000. Value driven versus price driven. Value driven offers are really good. Price doesn't matter as much as value. I think that's true across the board, that value is going to matter more to people than actual price. And the only thing that stops people from acquiring that value is their personal purchasing power. But since there are a lot of people that have more purchasing power than me, I think it's good to start looking to those people as clients, or even just people to strive to be as, like, I don't know where we're going with this one. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I will be offering products that I probably can't personally afford now, but if I could, and when I can, I will absolutely be doing that. Case in point, I went into Alex's $100 million money models thing to just buy that one book for $30, and I ended up buying his $500 package, which is steep for my current pocket, but I think is going to be invaluable to my journey towards my first $1 million and everything after that. So $500 is just a drop in the water for that, and if anything, I'm just grateful that I can drop that $500 with what I have today and not feel too bad about it. We're spending money here. We're spending money, so we got to make money. Spend money to make money. We're doing the pay to win model, I think. Finding the right market, a starving crowd. Need people to want what you're putting out. I feel like when I was growing as a Lethal Company content creator, I found success because I was marketing myself to a starving crowd, not because I was putting out good content. I think I had good content angles, but I think the content itself was weak. What to look for when picking a market. I remember this being huge. When picking markets, the 4 indicators, the pain that you're trying to solve and the severity of it, the purchasing power of your audience, whether or not they're easy to target, and whether or not it's a growing audience. The pain of Lethal Company was that there wasn't a lot of content creators especially doing long form content for Lethal Company when I started doing it. Purchasing power didn't matter at the time because I was mostly going for views. So I guess the purchasing power is the attention of people who are looking for Lethal Company content. Easy to target, mainly people looking for Lethal Company content because that's what I was doing. I was scouring all of YouTube looking for clips and Lethal Company stuff. So it was content that I was personally looking for and noticed a lack of. Growing market. This is a big reason why I left Lethal. It was not a growing market, and I mean, just look where it's at now. Everyone dropped Lethal for Repo, and everyone dropped both games to go play Peak. And that's not like a merry-go-round that I was entirely down for. I wish more people jumped on Forsaken Frontiers. You know what? If anything else, go check out Forsaken Frontiers. That game's awesome. I am biased though. This was another key point that I liked about this section. He listed out 3 markets that will just be here forever: health, wealth, and relationships. And gaming stuff didn't necessarily cover any of those. And I think that's why I'm able to at least mentally commit to this bit for a lot longer, or see myself doing it for a lot longer. That was the other thing. When I thought about whether or not I can continue doing gaming content for the next 10 years or even a lifetime, I just kind of even dreaded the thought of even doing it for another year. Whereas doing something like this, I could do basically forever. I don't intend to ever stop working. I believe that I will be working and just kind of grinding stuff till the day I die, and this is something that I can do that for. The only part about the gaming thing that I enjoyed and would take over with me is that it was mostly driven by content creation or video uploading, etc., etc. I can do that, not through gaming, I can do it through this instead. This is a good one too. The orders of importance when addressing the markets. The starving crowd is the most important part. The strength of your offer is the second part, and your persuasion skills are the last of it. There's some examples there if you want to take a look at those. That was true even for Lethal Company. There was a big market of people looking for Lethal Company stuff. I guess, like, because I had Iron Man and solo content back when no one was doing that, the offer or the thumbnail or content angle or titling, was a bit more appealing than a lot of the stuff out at the time. And I think the persuasion skills eventually just dropped towards the end. And same with the offer strength as more people started doing more interesting things, or as the ideas that I was doing got more stale. And definitely starving crowd died for sure. Commit to the niche. Okay, if you guys are still listening, do you guys pronounce it niche or niche? Not niche. Niche or niche? I was a niche enjoyer, but in this book, Alex Hormozi coined the term niche slap, and I kind of like that, so I might just switch over to niche. Commit to a niche. So I'm gonna commit to a niche in this business stuff. It's maybe reading, honestly, because I want to write books and I'm starting a blog. So that means that if I'm putting out words that are meant to be read, then my target audience is a type of reader. And the type of reader I'm looking for, I guess, is people who read stuff like Alex Hormozi's books, since that's going to be what I'm writing about. Summary points. Don't pick a bad market. And once I pick, commit. Okay. So I'm going to reverse that a little bit because I don't want to operate on don'ts. I want to operate more on do's. So I think one of the takeaways could be is find a favorable market. Charge what it's worth. I think when it comes to food business, I charge things a little bit too low. I'm not used to pricing my stuff as high as I'm going to be pricing it in the moving forward, but I'm excited to do that and to see whether or not I can create value that is worth that dollar amount to people. Dollar amount varies from person to person, from wallet to wallet, from perspective to perspective. But at the end of the day, someone saying yes with their hard-earned cash is more valuable to me than the specific dollar amount that I'll be putting out, especially when it's a dollar amount that I think is an insane goal, you know, or actually the dollar amount I don't think is insane. I think I'm still offering crazy value for the prices that I'm going to be asking. It's just, I think the crazy part is that they would put the money out there based on what I've shown so far. Because that's an objective truth. I haven't shown a whole lot of value or haven't made a great enough case that spending $1,000 on me lifetime value is going to be good enough. Maybe there's like 10 people that would feel that way. But even then, if they actually felt that way, that's $10,000. $10,000 is a lot of money to me still. I think $10,000 is a lot to a lot of people. I think it's good information too. Like how many of your friends or family or people that you know or people that know you have $1,000 to just kind of bet on you. One of Alex Hormozi's quotes that has stuck with me is him saying that it takes the same amount of effort to make a $10 sale as it does to make a $100,000 sale. And the difference is that the clients who pay the $100,000 will be like, good, let's move forward with this. Whereas a $10 client might fight with you over it. And that energy fighting over $10 is not worth it. I've done it many times in food. I've done it in YouTube comment sections over gaming. And also even on the higher ones, like, you know, doing corporate catering on the sushi side of things. Those corporate people just say, all right, yep, here's tens of thousands of dollars. We'll see you that day, blah, blah, blah. Easiest thing. That's also another reason why I want to charge high for what I do, because I want to start dealing in that audience of people. It's funny because when I think this stuff in my head, it sounds kind of ridiculous to think about, but when I say it out loud, especially as I say it in the context of speed reading this book, it doesn't sound as ridiculous as it does in my head, and it just kind of sounds like a realistic endeavor to pursue, and all it takes is time. I expect a lot of people to just kind of not be on board with this. That's okay. The more people who aren't on board, the better it's gonna feel when I actually get there to the end. The takeaway here is to charge as much as you possibly can for the value that you're providing. And this isn't driven by the dollar amount. It's driven by the value that you wish to offer, and offer your products and services to the right markets. That's the takeaway. The action item then is to identify the appropriate market that you will be offering your product or services to, and then identify the value that you'll be offering to them through your product and services, and then figure out what you should be charging them for that product or service. I think that's solid. Okay, let's move on to section 3. Section 3, value. Create your offer. How to make offers so good people feel stupid saying no. If there's anything to take away from this, that quote, I think people who are into this kind of thing can do so much just by having that in their head. How to make offers so good people feel stupid saying no. Even when you charge $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000, that's like at the back of my mind when I'm coming up with stuff like this. Value offer, the value equation. I like this value equation a lot, actually. Right there, value equation. If nothing else, if not my words, remember these. Oh, there's a QR code if you want to scan the QR code. These little diagrams are so good. That might be a way to reread this book. Just read it. Just go skip ahead to the diagrams. I mean, that's also a speed reading tactic, right? Read all of the headings and subheadings, and maybe read the first sentence of each paragraph or something like that. Read the chapter summaries, and also look at all the tables and diagrams. Also remember that as far as the value equation goes, most of the business comes from reducing the bottom part of the equation rather than maximizing the top part. The business comes from decreasing the time delay it takes to reach your dream outcomes and achievements or whatever, and also to reduce the effort and sacrifice required to do those things. So I think the takeaway here is absolutely going to be this value equation, and that in business, you should be striving to offer products and services that decrease the bottom portion of that. And then the action step is to then figure out what are the time delays and efforts and sacrifice that your market has to deal with in order to achieve the value that they seek. I like this part. Free goodwill. Asking people to leave a review of his book. This is also a really good like marketing tactic. You assign a positive personality traits to the person that you're marketing to, because then the actions that the person must take, or that they're being encouraged to take, will further solidify that they are a person of that positive quality. Oh wait, that was actually the part that I got to reading myself, so this is all unknown territory moving forward. Okay, it looks like we're being set on a side quest here, or I guess this isn't a side quest, this is just a mandatory thing. Brick exercise. Only take 120 seconds, so we're gonna commit 2 minutes of our speed run to this. It would be funny if I created a separate split for the brick exercise. Maybe I'll do that for a reread. Set a timer on my phone for 120 seconds. Think of a brick. Write down as many different uses of a brick you can possibly think of. How many different ways could brick be used in life to provide value? Okay, there's a blank sheet of paper that I'm going to be writing on. The reason why I'm covering the other one is because it shows his list, and I don't want to look at his list right now. Might have to use his other book to cover that. I didn't want to pick up my phone this whole time, but he said to, so let's do it. Set a 2-minute timer. 2-minute timer on the clock. And let's start thinking of uses for a brick. Well, there's the end of my 2 minutes. Here's my list. Weapon or self-defense. I was finishing writing self-defense there. We use it as a paperweight, exercise weight, maybe use it as like a dumbbell or something. A conversation starter, like let's say I put it out on the bar when I'm working in sushi. People will ask about the brick and then we can talk about it, you know. I do that with a lot of different things at the bar, just with a lot of random things. Shout out to that one time I put Vegemite up on the sushi case. It could be used as a doorstop. It could be used as a plate. I've used a lot of weird things as plates. Use as a back scratcher. That's one where I was like, ow, maybe. Be used as a mallet or a hammer. I was thinking of like the meat mallets and stuff to flatten meats, to tenderize meats. That's the actual word, the tenderizer. Sorry, I'm a sushi chef, not a savory, you know. Or it could be used as a hammer to like nail things in. It could be used as a guide or to like write straight lines or something. I guess level would be the one. Also be used as stress relief. I was thinking of like using it in a rage room or something, or just throwing bricks against the wall or something. Okay. Now we can go back to writing. That's our brick split, or sub-split if you want to call it that. Consider the following. How big is the brick? What is the brick made of? I didn't think of what the brick was made of. I also only thought of the standard size brick. I didn't think of any different size bricks. How's the brick shaped? Does it have holes in it? Does it have divots for interlocking? Let's look at Alex's list. Paperweight, doorstop, building things. Home for a fish in a bowl. And a fish bowl has a trophy. That's a cool one. Rustic decoration. To break a window. Wedge under uneven platform. I should have guessed that one considering how many uneven tables there are. Flotation. Plastic brick. Oh, that's a good one. Flotation device. Payment for goods. Gold brick. Okay. Nice. Retainer of value. A hold brick would have been nice, but the plastic one and the gold one are real cool. Lego bricks is really funny. Jumbo brick as a seat. Okay. I like this list. Again, back to the value equation. Important equation. He even made it bigger this time. Okay, so I like this because he's listing the dream outcomes, and then he's listing problems related to each step required to reach that dream outcome into 4 things, each one assigned to a part of the value equation. I like this because when you think of problems in the context of the value equation, you start thinking of solutions and assigning how effective they are based on which part of the equation they are contributing towards. And then when you bring them all together towards that, good. Transform problem into solutions and name the solutions. Reverse each element of the obstacle into solution-oriented language. Copywriting 101. This is something that I've seen a lot, the naming of solutions. Naval Ravikant has Productize Yourself. Tim Ferriss and Dan Koh have the 4-hour formats. Tim Ferriss's 4-hour work week and Dan Koh's 4-hour work day. He also has like mental monetization. Alex has $100 million offers, $100 million leads, $100 million money models. I personally have the 100,000 hour game. Once we have our list of solutions, we will operationalize how we are actually going to solve these problems. You will solve every problem. It looks like he has an example of dream outcome, problems, and solutions list. Why is he writing in cursive here? Wait, that's kind of an interesting point. So he is writing in just like plain text on this side, but then he writes his solutions in cursive. I guess when you write your solutions in cursive, it packages it to be in a more fancy or valuable way. More valuable because it's in cursive. It's a small thing and it might just sound like a joke, but I think mentally that's like a shift that can be impactful, more impactful than it seems on the surface. Because most people don't write in cursive nowadays. So to write something in cursive is a very intentional decision, and to tie something like solutions to an intentional decision is a pretty cool tactic. Your first grand slam offer, it's important to over-deliver like crazy. Make people think, I get all this for only that. That's good. Have customers and clients perceive tremendous value. High prices, but a steal for the value. Good. I'm starting to realize that this video is going to take some time to edit. Damn. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so I'm reading this anecdote about why we must solve every perceived problem. Like, this is a big point of this chapter. That when you're coming up with a solution to a problem, you have to make sure that you solve every part of that problem. And that's where coming up with multiple solutions is very handy. Because if someone doesn't want to solve, or if you offer a solution and there's a different problem that they're dealing with, it's our responsibility as problem-solving people who are offering a solution as a business model and stuff, you know, offering the value of solving that problem to actually come up with a solution for that. Okay, I see now. What I'm looking at right now is the final high value deliverable, and it shows all the examples of the bundles. And what's trumped me up is that all of these individual systems and solutions are being sold as a bundle. But what this bundle is actually a set of solutions to a set of problems that stop someone from reaching their dream outcome. In this case, the dream outcome is weight loss through eating better, and then all the different problems here: buying food, cooking healthy food, eating healthy food, exercise that goes along with it, how to keep up even when you're traveling and when you go out to eat with people, and how to actually stick with it. All those are different problems, and each of these individual ones are individual solutions, I guess. Individual problems, individual solutions per like the value equation. Like he created products and services for each individual problem and then bundled it together to chart. Bundled it together. I see. I don't think I'm saying that in words as well as I understand it. Maybe I don't understand it as well if I'm not able to put it into words, but we are doing this in real time as well. I get it now. When he said to solve every problem, he meant that. Whatever the solution or whatever the outcome is, the dream outcome that your client is looking for, make sure that you solve every problem on an individual level, find those solutions, and then you bundle it. This is good. This is good. The takeaway here is that in order to create a valuable offer, you must first be able to identify what it is your client or customer actually wants, aka their dream outcome. And when you offer a solution, you must also be able to identify the problems that they face when trying to achieve that dream outcome. And the value you're offering is the solution to those problems. And when you offer a solution to those problems, you must make sure that you solve them fully, like 100%. You offer a means to do so fully without leaving anything on the table for them. And the best way to get value out of all of that is to bundle all of your solutions together, the set of solutions that solve the direct set of problems that are preventing someone from reaching their dream outcome, into a package deliverable that is so valuable that it would be insane for someone to say no to it. It would be insane for someone who actually wants that dream outcome for themselves to say no to it, regardless of what it costs financially. So what is the action item? The action item here is to identify a dream outcome of your target audience. What is their actual dream outcome? What do they actually want to do? What do they actually want to achieve? And then do the steps of identifying the problems, the ones that are related to the time and effort needed to do that, time, effort, and sacrifice needed to achieve that dream outcome, and come up with solutions to every single one of those problems that you can think of, and then figure out a way to bundle that all together into one final deliverable product. Finally, finishing section 3. That was one of our longer splits, an hour, but we are beyond the point of where I was reading previously, which is cool. You're going to be starting section 4. So now that we have the offer, I mean, I don't have it yet, but the section 4 is on how to enhance it to make it better, which is insane to think about because I think you already have something crazy valuable in just that. So how do we make it better? I see the words scarcity, urgency, bonuses, guarantees, and naming. These are all good things. But wait, there's more. Every infomercial in the 90s. I should read that fully. But wait, there's more. If you order today, because that hits quite a few of those bullet points on the title. There's more bonuses if you order today. That's urgency. This is the persuasion part of the original equation, by the way. The starving market to offer to persuasion. It's cool because the book is ordered in this order as well. We started with identifying the starving market, then spent a whole section on curating the offer part, and now we're going into the persuasion part, which is the cherry on top of the cake, you know. First you need someone who actually wants the cake. Then you need to make as great of a cake as possible. And then you have the extra parts where it's just like, damn, this is actually worth that value, if not more. And I'm getting a crazy bargain just by purchasing this crazy cake. Man, I really like this. The whole thing about finding the outcome, the desired outcome, and breaking down every single problem that is faced with that problem or with that outcome, and just providing a solution to every single one. It's so simple and it makes so much sense, and I want to apply it to everything right now, including the dinners that I host. Okay, I have some work to do after this. This was something I was worried about in doing this thing, is that I would find stuff that I would want to do immediately while reading this book, but I gotta stick to the goal of finishing these books for now, because that is the framing that I decided on at the beginning, and I want to see it through to the end. All marketing exists to influence the supply and demand curve. The perfect profit combination is lots of demand and very little supply, or perceived supply. The perceived supply is something I'm gonna have to think about when pushing digital products or like print on demand products, because with those there is no little supply, which is like the appeal of digital products in the first place and print on demand in the first place. You don't have to manage an inventory or worry about running out. Perceived supply will have to be more in terms of like urgency and the time frame in which this product is available, either at all or at a specific price point, which is something that could be applied to Alex's audiobook that he is only releasing to people who referred 10 people to sign up for his live event on Saturday. He said it's a book that's only going to be released to people who do that referral. And same with the two marketing playbooks that he's releasing with his $500 package. He says that they're two books that are only going to be released for people who buy this package. There's no actual limit of supply of those that he can give out. It's just that he's only choosing to give them out at this specific time in this specific bundle. And that is the perceived supply, because you won't get it if you don't get it now. Okay. I think we're going to make some money, guys. I think we are. Just hit the 2 hour and 14-minute mark. This one's for the boys. I just have to wait till we get to like a specific time before I continue moving on with this. Nice. Locked it in. I needed to get a screenshot of this 214.55. Those who know. Okay, now I can move on. A single offer is less valuable than the same offer broken into its component parts and stacked as bonuses. That's true. And I've seen Alex make videos on this specific tactic. That's why every infomercial of all time continues on with, but wait, there's more, when in reality they were planning on selling you the package bundle in the first place. They just want you to make you think that what you're getting is a bonus. This whole thing about adding bonuses instead of discounting whenever possible also is so, like, the first time I heard that, I just started implementing that immediately. So people who come in and eat with me at the sushi bar, instead of giving them discounts on their food, I just give them free stuff all the time. I just make them custom things. Okay, I should have been writing down what the takeaways and action items are for each section, because I'm realizing that as I reach the end of this, that I'm gonna have to share like a bullet point thing about what each action item and takeaway and action item was, and I haven't been writing it down specifically. I figured I'd go back and hear myself say it, but for the purposes of this video, I think I'll need to do that before I could say that I've fully completed reading this. The takeaway here is that even once you have a valuable offer, you still have to manage the supply and demand of it, decreasing the perceived supply while increasing the perceived demand. That's the big takeaway. The action steps is to identify ways that you can decrease the perceived supply of your offer and increase the demand of it by applying scarcity, urgency, bonuses, guarantees, and naming. And with that, we can start Section 5, Execution. How to make this happen in the real world. This is going to be the shortest one. It's good. I wonder if we'll get it in the sub 3. Your first $100,000. What do you know? I mean, we're shooting for $1 million, but 100,000 is a milestone as well. The only way to improve is through learning from experience and such are high quality sources. It has to be both. Though experience is the best teacher, she is not the kindest. Excellence exists in the depth of knowledge and nuances. Okay, this last part has so many like good sound bites and quotables. At the end of the book, he has some follow-up things here. There's a bonus chapter here that I think I'll read on a separate time. Let's do a takeaway. Takeaway from this part, section 5. Improvement happen through execution. The action items are to actually do the work suggested in this book. Create your own brand slam offer. And with that, I think we can say we're done. 2 hours, 56 minutes, and 48 seconds for $100 million offers. That is only the first part of this run. Glad that I did it this way, because even just from like trying to do a speed read without like, you know, the whole audiobook edition and everything, I think I was able to get a lot of value out of this. I say that now, but I think we're going to see just how much value I get out of this as we move on from here. Or the immediate value is that I'm going to have something to put out video-wise, but I'm only halfway there. I need to finish reading $100 million leads since I said I was going to read both books. That took me 3 hours. This is probably going to take me a little over 3 hours. It is currently 3:22 p.m. my time, so I might be finishing this one around 7 o'clock p.m. and then after that I still have to edit a video and upload it. Oh man. Okay, this one I think I'm gonna go through a bit faster because I still have to do the things in this one, and this stuff doesn't happen as quickly as this. So here's what we're gonna do. After reading through $100 million offers, I realized that there's some crazy ways to pre-read Alex's book based on the format. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna like really pre-read this one. Because I'm choosing it to do it this way, I am going to talk about one of the principles that guided me towards speed reading the books in the first place. And it is going back to Dan Koh's 4-hour workday thing, where the reason why he restricts his workdays to 4 hours is because if he only gives himself 4 hours to complete a task, then over time he will figure out ways to get more work done with less time. He will learn how to get more value out of those 4 hours because that is all he has. Whereas if you give yourself as much time as you want, you might put it off because you say, oh, I have time, like I've been doing with this book. I've had this book in my possession for months and I just now finished it because I now have the urgency of wanting to finish it for the book launch tomorrow. The 4-hour work day gives that urgency and makes you need to extract stuff. And just based on the things I was saying while reading this book, I think I was able to find value, and I've definitely gotten more value out of speed reading this book to its entirety than just kind of slowly reading it at my own pace. We're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna see what happens if I can get value going even faster this time. We're just gonna jump right into it. $100 million leads. I got the live split up there. I just finished reading $100 million offers, and we are going to go. Pre-read by just kind of seeing what the titles are about. To be honest, I'm not even sure what a lead fully is. I guess a lead would be a prospective buyer, customer, client, something that leads to a sale. Part of the pre-read is just kind of reading the table of contents. So that way, when you read stuff, you kind of see where it's going based on what you have picked up already. Get leads. Post free content part 1, part 2. Get leads. This is looking like social as top of funnel, which is how I learned about Alex in the first place. Run paid ads. Learned about that through Dan Koh at some point. It is a thing, especially with the influencer culture on social media now, or interest media, as Gary Vaynerchuk has put it. Affiliate and partners is something that I'm very interested in. Another thing you can do pre-read is read the actual back of the book too. Here we're going to define leads. I like how when Alex does video or content like this, he leads with the definition of the things he's talking about just to make sure that everyone's on the same page. It could be something very simple and universal, but to make sure that everyone is understanding what exactly he's talking about, he starts with defining things, and I like that. Advertising is the process of making known. If more people know about the stuff you sell, then you sell more stuff. You sell more stuff, then you make more money. Having lots of leads makes it hard to be poor. Advertising is a skill worth having. True, that's why I'm here. This book, $100 million leads, shows you exactly how to do it. Nice. We're going to be learning how to advertise stuff. It seems you already have a grand slam offer to sell this stuff. Okay, well. Don't have it yet. Which is why I'm going to go faster through this. The problem this book solved. We got 6 figures. Problem is you're not getting as many leads as you want. I guess we can see how his value offer is applied to this book. We could also go back and apply the value offer to his first book as well. And then we could also apply it. Damn, he's doing that for his book series, isn't he? He could have just put all of them into one big value bundle, but then he separated them into separate parts. This is what I like about engaging with Alex's content. I mean, I could do it with pretty much everyone too. Like, especially people who are in the education sector or people who are teaching people how to do what they do. You can see it, the principles that you're learning in real time applied to their products and services. Problem is you don't get as many leads as you want because you're not advertising enough. Result, potential customers are ignorant of your existence and less money flows your way. I like how it starts with the problem and shows what the consequences of that problem. And then now we're going into how this book solves it. Only grow your business 2 ways: get more customers, make them worth more. We've been about that. Get more customers, buy more leads, better leads, cheaper leads, and reliable. I like these. I like how he uses stick figures. Very straightforward. Okay, I'm not going to make the mistake this time around. I'm going to write down the takeaways section by section. Section 1, takeaway is that more leads equals more business. The action item, review current leads, then read book. I think it's good to review what you have in your arsenal right then and there before even diving into stuff like this, just so you can see where your own head is at. And then what that does is it also gives you a comparison for afterwards. So you can see what your perspective looked like before you engaged with the material, and then you can see how it's changed by the end of it. That's something I could have done with the offers one, but it's not something I was thinking about at the start of reading this, because I knew that I had about like 6 hours of reading ahead of me, and then a couple more hours of editing after that. It's something that I thought about after as I went on, but it's also going to be something that I do moving forward for books that don't have as much of a urgency attached to it. Okay. We're done with section 1. We're going to section 2, get understanding. Advertising simplified. First, talk about what a lead actually is. Second, learn how to separate leads that make you money from leads that waste your time. Good. What is a lead? Turns out it's not as straightforward. A lead is a person you can contact. That's all. Wow. Okay, I like that. You want engaged leads. People who show interest in the stuff you sell. Engaged leads are the true output of advertising. I mean, how do we get leads? There we go. That's the question at the end of it. Lead magnet is a complete solution to a narrow problem. Was the book $100 million money model is a lead magnet because it got me interested in the bigger package for 500. Lead magnet is basically an offer or like an actual product or service. A person who pays with their time now is more likely to pay with their money later. That's why building an audience of people who will watch your long form content, especially when you have a product or service to sell, is really good. People will give you time before they give you money. The time is still a cost. Your lead magnet isn't worth their time, it's overpriced. And free or not, they won't buy from you again. If they think your lead magnet is worth your time, they'll think your core offer is worth their money. Nice. That's kind of like how free content works. If people think that watching or engaging with the content is worth their time, then why wouldn't the product that that same person is offering also be worth their money? Especially when money is easier than time for a lot of people. So you need to create a lead magnet. So you're doing the value creation cycle on a smaller scale, or just taking from your deliverable, really taking one of your bonuses and offering it up front. A good thing when you offer insanely valuable stuff for free, because the business that provides the most value wins. Nice. The goal is to provide more value than the cost of your core offer before they bought it. Nice. Takeaway, I'm just going to say grand slam. Lead magnet is how to get your leads to engage. Action item is to create a lead magnet that will get you engaged leads. Cool. On to section 3. You are here. It's kind of fun. It's like we're going through a dungeon of some sort. Now we're just going from quadrant to quadrant. That's something new that wasn't in the previous book. This is kind of like bringing the table of contents to the front of every chapter, and also shows that you're making progress as you move along. The content you create isn't the compounding asset. The audience is. So even though the content may disappear in time, your audience keeps growing. That's a good way to put it. Because when I was doing YouTube lethal stuff, I thought, well, once I monetize, every time I make a video, that's just something that'll make me money indefinitely. But as everyone who crosses that threshold realizes at some point, the ad revenue isn't everything and isn't the main thing. I got a misprint on mine. It's like book retain reward, but on the other page it's full. So get them to notice your content, get them to consume it. That's the reason they could. Yeah, this is all like thumbnail, title, and first 5 seconds of the video YouTube stuff, or just content stuff. Hook, retain, reward. All this stuff is the reason why I'm even coming up with an offer in the first place and wanting to sell stuff, because I was making content without asking for anything other than for people to continue watching me, I guess. Now I'm just gonna start asking directly for the outcome that I really want, because like I've said many times, the reason why I did the gaming stuff is because I wanted more people to start pursuing the gaming stuff professionally themselves after watching a completely average dude find some success in doing it. The whole point was to be like, wow, if he can do it, then I can too. It was my shortcoming that I never actually created the resources to help people do that. It's not a shortcoming that I intend to replicate with this new endeavor. And until I have my own stuff, I'm just going to refer people to the things that I am currently engaging with, which in this current moment is Alex Hormozi's book series, which you can find in the description below if you want to actually get your own copies of the books that I'm reading in this video, or want to pre-order or purchase. Depth then width. It's funny because this is all stuff that I was talking about when I was doing YouTube. People ask me why I never did like YouTube shorts or TikToks. It's because I wanted to focus on getting good at long form YouTube without worrying about other platforms. I noticed that a lot of my gaming content creator friends would burn themselves out from trying to post basically subpar content across multiple platforms, because the goal was to be on every platform instead of putting out good content. And you know, one of us got results and the other one's still doing the same thing. It is what it is. Now, moving forward, I mean, I'm still going to be doing long form content, but a big focus is going to be on the short form this time. I'm going to try to learn the short form for now. But making long form is kind of my way of having something to funnel the short form content people to. So I'm making this video, and then the intention is that I can funnel people from the TikTok that I'm going to make after this to this long form one if they want to see what the journey looks like in action. Though posting every day until I reach $1 million thing, they can see the long form version of that through my long form content here. Get on every platform early, then maximize them together. You want to do both then? Oh no, this is explaining the difference between depth and width and depth. They're opposing strategies, so okay, so I was a little bit wrong. He's saying to do both of them, which I like also. Here's a little blurb on content. I'm actually gonna take a photo of this and send it to my content creator friends. I might actually just take a picture of the whole page. 78% of all clients have consumed at least 2 long-form pieces of content prior to booking a call. Start making content relevant to your audience. It will make you more money. Hello, I'm here. Switch from how to how I. From this is the best way to these are my. Yeah, this is something that I'm doing personally. Because whenever I write like how to or like, this is the best way, it kind of feels a bit phony. It sounds like all those gurus that everyone shies away from because like those guys are crocs of shit. They're not really crocs of shit, I don't think. I mean, they have a following for a reason, but I don't feel genuine framing things that way when I haven't gotten the results that I'm talking about yet. Like, you know, I find that these are valuable, like these $100 million things, but I haven't currently implemented it yet. This is why I'm starting this video as I'm speedrunning these books and seeing what value I get out of it. And we can kind of explore that together. I'm not showing people that this is the way to do things. It's that this is the way I'm doing things, and then people can determine whether or not they perceive value in what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and whether or not that's something they want to pursue themselves also, or to just follow along. I think it's going to be a lot of following along before it becomes something that they actively do. Avoid pre-scheduling posts. The posts I manually post are better than ones I pre-schedule. When you manually post, this is actually something that I was going to write about in my Substack, because I've tried the pre-scheduling stuff and I just don't like it. The way I saw it was like, so it's similar to sushi, because that's the framing that I'm going to use for the Substack. Like, instead of having an evergreen content list, I'm just going to serve pieces of content as if it were a piece of sushi, which means once it's done, just put it out and you get it as fresh as possible. There's something about like how relevant it feels in that moment. The reason why I'm writing it or creating it at that time is because at that time it feels like it's something that must be done right then and there. There's an urgency to create it and an urgency for people to consume it. And that urgency is lost once I've already completed the thing and then just let it sit for a while. It kind of feels like I'm giving people leftovers, and I don't really like that. The trade-off is that I have to sit here and create content every day, like fresh content every day, if I want to keep up on a daily schedule, which is why it was important to me to pick something that I wouldn't burn out from doing, because it would have to be something that I do every single day of my life, at least for the next 100,000 hours of deliberate work. When you manually post, you know that within seconds you'll be rewarded or punished for the quality of the content. Because of that close feedback loop, you try that much harder to make it better. That's true, because sometimes when I put out a video, I would watch for like the first, I don't know how long it would take, but YouTube takes a little bit of time before it starts showing you like the metrics, like the 1 of 10 metric, like how many people, like your click-through rate, your average view duration and stuff. And a lot of times the early stats will inform you if your video is going to do well over the long term or not. And that was a good litmus test to be like, okay, did I do something good or did I not? Eventually, the way I started feeling about all of my gaming content was that no, I didn't put out anything good. I think all of this is going to boil down to post more. Post more on social media. Be on social media and post. That's the takeaway, isn't it? Action item. Post to social. Post to social today. Apply concepts from this book as you go. Well, good thing that my goal for today is to put out a video, huh? 2 videos even. Long form and short form. Section 4, get lead getters. Get people who get you more leads. So this is where like the affiliates and partners come into play. We're gonna talk, it looks like we're gonna talk about leverage here. He has a lever. I remember seeing this in one of his videos. He uses this diagram quite a bit. Tell people about your stuff. Others tell people about your stuff, and then they apply the core 4. You keep going. We'll get a lead getter who gets lead getters. This is where like people think of multi-level marketing and usually gets like a bad rep. I think it only deserves a bad rep if the product or service that they're offering isn't any good. I don't think this kind of model is inherently like bad or anything. I don't think business is inherently bad. I don't think wanting to make money is inherently evil. For a takeaway, acquiring lead getters is how you scale your ability to secure more leads. Action item is to incorporate appropriate lead getting strategy to your business. Cool. Now we're gonna get to section 5, or oh shit, hold on. We have to undo that. Because section 4 is conclusion, get lead getters. We're almost there though. Section 5 is one more page. Last skill you ever need to learn is how to get other people to do everything you need. Wow, wait, that's actually good. Because in the first book, it was, I'm the guy you go to make the last dollar you'll ever need to make. This is the last skill you ever need to learn, is getting other people to do everything you need for you. The last skill you ever need to learn is how to get other people to do everything you need for you. We already did our takeaway and stuff, so let's actually move on to section 5, getting started. If you want to take your advertising to the next level, work until the job is done. Give up the idea of doing your best. Instead, do what is required. And sometimes that means your best just needs to get better. I've heard him say that so many different times. That's actually why I'm here, doing this until I've completed reading these books. I've only left this seat once to go use the bathroom. Okay, it looks like he separated the levels in a roadmap here. 0 to 100 million. Well, I'm doing 0 to 1 million for now. But I guess Alex was ahead of me on where I was going with this. I mean, everyone was, right? They say that first 100,000 is hard to make, first 100 or 1 million is hard to make, first 100, first 1,000, first 10,000. On my road to my first million. That's why we're here. So it looks like we're gonna get to 100 million eventually. There's 5 levels to this, it seems. Level 1 is the warm outreach, letting your friends know about the stuff you sell. Level 2 is consistently letting everyone know about the stuff you sell. That's the level I'm at now and what I will be doing moving forward with the YouTube, the TikTok, the Substack. Level 3 is getting employees to help you do more advertising. I'm probably far from that unless I start making an insane amount of money in the near future. Level 4, product is good enough to get consistent referrals. Ooh, that comes after employees, huh? Level 5, you advertise in more places, in more ways, with more people. Yep. Level 6, you hire killers. Hire hitmen? Level 7, I'll come back and edit this chapter once I cross 1 billion. Cool. Takeaway, get going, and don't stop. Action item. Okay, action item is definitely get a video up. Maybe people won't want to do video. I think everyone should do video. Upload a post inviting people to engage with your business venture. Just do it, get started. That's kind of like an addendum to section 4's takeaway. We're now in the free goodies and calls to action. A bunch of free stuff in a second. Okay, this is just where he tells you all the stuff that you can do afterwards, all the different action items that are available to you, all the free stuff that he has. There's not really a takeaway or action item from here. The action item and takeaway are still the same. So we have now done a pre-read of $100 million leads. Takeaways are that in order to grow your business, you need engaged leads, which is people who are interested in the product and in solving the problems they have using the solutions that you're offering. And the only way for people to know that you're offering the solution to their problem is for you to advertise. This book is about advertising. And then the big ways to advertise is to post to social media. That's one that anyone can do. Hire lead getters, I guess. Hire employees, set up affiliate programs, run paid ads. Oh, and before that even too, to create a lead magnet, which is basically you're creating an offer for free. Like that'll turn your leads into engaged leads. And yeah, I really like the tactic of having your lead getters put your lead magnet in front of people. That's cool too. The practical takeaway and action item for people here is to start posting on social media about what the business and service that you're offering, selling, etc., etc. And this could apply to gaming content. If anyone is still watching for my gaming content people here, this also applies to gaming content. Tell people that you are uploading gaming videos. Invite them to show up to your streams. If you want to be a streamer, create YouTube content, TikToks, all that. Using that and to get people interested in your stream, in you as a person, so that way they show up to your Twitch. That is what I did with my Twitch. I got more followers than basically everyone I knew prior to this from doing that. And like, you know, be consistent. All everyone has to do is do that. Make good content and be consistent about it. And if you have something to sell something along with it and make sure that what you sell is good and everything else will come. But that is that. I have actually read both $100 million offers and $100 million leads. How long did that actually take me? I guess I'll put the timer up here, but I think it was like a little over 4 hours, somewhere under 5 hours. That's how long it took me to read both books. It is currently 4:42 p.m., which is actually like 2 hours ahead of schedule because I was considering doing like a full read, but just based on what this book was about, what I need to do is implement this first. This helps once I have something. This helps me get something. The third one helps me secure the sales with this stuff, which is why I wanted to reread both of these. Yeah, I'm glad I did this. This is probably how I'm going to treat most books now. Maybe I'll just to make sure that I actually read, you know? I will just read it and say thoughts out loud on recording. Maybe I'll stream it sometime. But if I stream it, I might get distracted by people showing up. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it. We'll see. If anyone's interested, like got here and is actually interested in a live stream, even if I'm not actively engaging with the people who show up, let me know. Anyway, if you got this far, thanks for watching. You can get your own copies of these books in the description below. You can also register for the live event happening tomorrow, Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and pre-order the book in the links. You can also check out the lemonade drink that I talked about, the Gray Matter Bright Minds. There, you can try out the mushroom coffee that I like. You can add me on Umo Musume Pretty Derby, and you can also subscribe to my Substack if you really want to. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching. This is very different for me. Happy to have done this. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you want to see more of it. Subscribe for more. All right, peace.